In the morning, um, William has woken up, as with Daenerys Targaryen, and lovingly they look at each other as they get dressed. They hug for a long time and kiss for a long time. Khaleesi then tells William, "Today's the day you start your many lessons, so that you will be now one of us by obeying laws. You will learn history. You will learn to at least speak the language of the kingdoms. The Targaryen language may be a little bit tough because you are human. It is my native language, but I don't expect you to pass, which is fine. You must have to pass the other, though. I understand, and I'm ready to take these lessons and obey the laws that you enforce." "That is good. You have spoken well." And I noticed she had a big smile on her face. "You will not displease me, and I trust you will do well. I will do whatever it takes to please my queen and my wife." I couldn't help it. She had this biggest grin, and it pleased me to see how happy she was. She gives me a gentle squeeze on the hand and kisses me again for a long time, and then says, "Okay, well then, I have duties I have to do, and you have lessons to attend to." "Yes, my queen." And so with that, her eyes followed me, even though she was walking out with this big grin on her face. I am still, for some reason, every time she smiles at me and looks at me, my heart always leaps for joy, as if I'm like drunk with her love. But now I must focus because I don't want to disappoint her. So now I have much to learn. As I go down the halls of the palace, the first room that I have to come to after going through many corridors is the room that I will be learning most of my lessons. And I already had my orientation as to the lessons that will be mostly covered here with the laws that I'm supposed to take over at King's Landing. But there are two sets of laws, from what I understand. And so I find this out as soon as I get in the door. And of course, even though I'm as adopted by my heraldry by Daenerys to follow in her stead by sitting at her right hand, they still give me bow to me, which is still something I have to get used to. And I try to do what I think is official. I like thank you. Um, and so they stand and they look at each other. "You'll have to forgive me. It is not you who has, if you think you've done anything wrong. Because I am human, I still have to get used to the fact that people bow to me. And I know why you do, and I respect this, and I accept this." So they then kind of seemed a little bit more cheerful, a lot, and not had the worried look like they did something wrong. I have much to learn. And by the Queen's command, I am here to learn from the traditions and the customs so that I can actually, even though I have been adopted by swearing my allegiance to the Queen, my life, my heart, my soul, and mind, to be even more secure in my position as her husband and her and king following in her stead. There's things I must learn. So if I didn't speak properly, though you did honor me by bowing to me, it's because this is all new to me. But you did nothing wrong, so I hope that you understand what I'm saying." They nodded in agreement. It is good to know that one will admit not being wise before they can be wise. "You did well, and we were honored to train you so that you will meet the Queen's expectations." "Thank you. Um, how do I address you? You shall call me Lord Instructor. All right then. Thank you, Lord Instructor. Let us cover your lessons now, because since you are not of our world, these are things you must know. All right. Would you mind being seated? No, that is fine. So I sit on what looks like a bench, and there's a table, almost like a classroom, because there are many tables. They all are identical. I take the one at the very front, because it looks like that at the moment, this is the moment where I'll probably be taking the lessons by myself. And he holds up a scroll and then begins to read what I need to do. The first lesson you need to know about, because you are not of this world, well, you are of this world now because you've sworn allegiance, and the Queen has made it official, especially by your being betrothed to the Queen, and she has adopted your heraldry to where she maintains the throne, because as you had stated truthfully to her, you cannot take the throne. Therefore, what is rightfully hers and she inherited, she now maintains. This is good, of course. This also means that she has not only adopted your heraldry, which secured the throne for her, which she has rightful claim to, but she has also accepted you not by your heraldry to sit on her right hand and follow in her stead. This is well-pleasing, both to the Queen, I'm sure, and to those who know that she has rightful claim to the throne. Thank you, Lord Teacher, or Lord Instructor. They kind of laugh. Don't worry, you'll do fine. The Queen has told us some time ago that you may have some problems trying to keep things straight, but we won't hold this against you. Thank you. So I feel like I'm in high school again. I'm having to learn stuff all over again. This is like just so amazing. So, because this is new to you, you will learn, though there's not a whole bit much to cover, it is the geography of this world. And based on everything you have told us from the world you come from, I would imagine then our world is 5 times bigger than your world of Earth. And it covers the realm of the kingdoms. Then you will have to do an extensive history. There is a series of chapters. Right now, there is only 6. In time, we will make ready the 7th and the 8th final chapter. Narrator's note, this refers to the movie series. Then you have to learn about Targaryen customs and traditions. These will be made ready to you as soon as you have completed all history for what there is available. When the other 2 do come available, you will be summoned to take those as well. Then there is the Targaryen language. I suppose you know the Queen does have the ability to speak more than one language. Yes, my lord. I have heard her speak 2 languages. One is, I believe, that all kingdoms understand. There is another, which even to this day I don't quite understand. I had heard it when I first came to this world. It was different. During the human tradition that I introduced her to called the honeymoon, she spoke the same language to the Dothraki. That is correct. It is a language older than that which the kingdoms understand. All the kingdoms speak one basic language. Your language is an earthbound language that you call English? Yes. Well, yours was the easiest to understand. So this is why we're able to communicate with you right now. Next, we'll be learning the Targaryen writing. This may be something that you might have a little bit difficulty with, being that you're human from another world. We're not sure how your world teaches. Well, my lord, because my world is small and has many kingdoms, there are many writing styles. That which I come from, it's like a kingdom, but yet it is not. It is what I had known as the United States of America. The language, of course, was English, which comes from England, but there was like 36 letters in the alphabet. There's 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, for proper pronunciation. And though my former kingdom or country that I came from of Earth had the English language, we didn't exactly speak proper English. There are certain drawls and pronunciations that we didn't use, but it became part of that which is known of the United States of America. Well, there are a lot of differences when it comes to this language. You will have to at least see what you can do to learn them. Then there's the writings of the kingdoms. We have every kingdom who sends like a special raven with a message or messenger. They all write the same writings so that that is easily understood for this world. Then, of course, the most important one, there is the Targaryen laws. But there is also another set of laws. The Mother Dragon, of course, is in charge of the laws that she enforces. So we call this the Mother Dragon laws. They go kind of side by side, or as we would say, hand in hand with the Targaryen laws. These are the laws, since you swear allegiance to her, that you will also be expected to obey and follow. Do you understand? Yes, my lord. And I have told Daenerys Targaryen, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing her name correctly, that I would obey any command that she gives me. That is good. Very noble of you. I think you will do well in our world. Thank you. And William begins to smile. She, the queen that is, has faith in me as well, which pleases me because as long as she has faith in me, I know I shall be happy for the remainder of my days here and will try to obey anything that she commands of me. Very good. All right, continuing on. Realm of Kingdoms political lessons. Now, I don't know about you call United States of America and on your world of planet Earth, but these lessons, of course, you being following in her stead as her husband king, you will have to learn about certain politics. There may come a time where the queen may want to test you or ask your opinion, and you must know politics of the kingdoms to maybe even give her a good decision. Of course, she won't be too hard on you because you are human, and with your frailties and everything, she understands that you have much to learn. Yes, my lord. Okay, and then of course there is the final lesson, which she will test you herself. We have understood this being her command and final instruction. That is the strategic lessons of warfare. When the time is right, she will take you into a meeting room and you will be shown a map. And she will test you as she and high commanding knights will watch to see what you respond to and see what you can see on the map. I understand, my lord, and I look forward to this test most of all, so that if I do well, I know she will be well pleased. That is good. Well, this concludes our final orientation at this time of knowing the exact lessons you have to take. Soon, about later on this afternoon, we will begin the history lessons. So until then, you have some time until we begin those lessons today. Thank you, my lord, and I shall return as promptly as best as I can. So with that, William gets up from the table and quietly exits what would again appear to be something like a classroom. William says a deep sigh, and just so happens Khaleesi's coming around the corner. You seem distressed. No, my queen. Um, you can call me Daenerys, We're not in the throne room. Okay, sorry. She kind of smiles also. Daenerys, I just got the rundown of my classes. It looks like I'm going to be busy for some time. I guess the first one is kind of going to be easy next to the one you gave me about proper um, royal table etiquette. I have to, because I am not born of your world, learn of the realm of kingdoms world geography. Then they're going to start me on history lessons. And then I guess they'll have a bunch of others. I'm sorry, I got a little winded. Maybe this atmosphere's kind of gotten a little bit touchy. I forgot how to breathe properly. Then Daenerys puts her hand on his chest. You need to remember to breathe the way you have been doing. Yeah, I don't want nothing happening to you, Yes, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't get too excited. I am happy that you're anxious in doing your lessons. This means that you will do well. Well, thank you. And I guess the last one, you get to test me yourself. Her eyebrows kind of raised with a smile. Strategic warfare. Strategic lessons of warfare. I think that's what they call it. Yes, this will be the last one that I will be testing you on. Well, I look forward to being tested by you. She kind of looks down and smiles, looking left to right. You will do well, William. I have faith in you. And I thank you. And as long as you have faith in me, my heart is overjoyed. For I feel like I'm a teenager again, having to learn many things. Though I'm not a teenager in my world, but I feel young again because of this. And of course, I understand, yes, I'm half my age, so I guess technically I am young because the longevity here in your world may extend me, as you said, for living a lot longer than I would on Earth. Well, I have to go now, but you take care. And when's your first class start? Later this afternoon. They want to start me off on history. Well, this is good. Then you'll learn much of our world and of the history as far back as we can go. Yes, they said that there might be a couple of them, series chapter 7 and a series chapter 8, but they said they would have to summon me when they become available, but they would not hold me back from doing whatever duties that you would command me, if I understood that correctly. Of course, I'm just paraphrasing. Yes, well, we're not going to let anything hold that back. But that is good. I look forward to hearing what you have learned when you are done. It'll be an honor to report back to you. Then she looks both ways and took me by surprise, puts her arms around me and kisses me for a little bit, and then, like, in a way, straightening up like nothing happened. I will see you later, William. And I will see you later, too, my queen, Daenerys Targaryen. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I still got to work on her first name. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So with that, then I go to um, uh, out for a break, waiting till it's time for lunch, and then, of course, I will have to, after lunch, go and start my history lessons. After having a great time with Khaleesi during the lunchtime and talking about many things, it was time for William to return to class. Khaleesi looked very happy that her husband King now was going to not only uh, prove himself through knowledge, but she had faith that now, after completing all lessons, he would definitely be like one of the people that serve her. And she took the great delight in this because of him wanting to learn, and so freely was in agreement to taking the classes for which were expected of him. Then she went in to go on to do her duties as William then enters into the class. For many hours, he had gone through many chapter series of the history of the world in which he now lives. And after successfully, through careful study and research, he then finally completed up to about the 6th series chapter that were available. And as the Lord and Lord Instructor had stated, that there would be a couple others, but this would not be held against him because they would become available as time went by, and he would have to then be summoned to complete these lessons. Now, William, there is this short realm of Kingdoms World Geography, and once you get this done, you will have completed the lessons for this day. Are you ready for these lessons? Yes, Lord Instructor. I'll show you a map. Can you read the writing and tell me what you see? I see 2 large continents, though I'm not sure how the directions of this world may be like that of mine. I will use what my Earth culture would call north, south, east, and west. To the west, I see a large landmass, and I believe it's pronounced Hesteros, which is to the west known as Westeros. That is correct. The larger continent, though it has many islands, is to the south, and I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, it is Essos. That is correct. You're doing well. Please continue. There's another page. Okay. Now, we don't have yet the other map for you to describe the kingdoms of Essos like we do Westeros. So we're going to postpone this until we can get that other page for you. I'm going to ask you a question, and based on what you see, you will give us the information, and we will let you know if this is correct or not. I understand, Lord Instructor. From everything and all your senses of having been here in this world, what can you tell us about the known world that you live now? William thinks for a moment. The known world is composed of at least 3 continents: Westeros, Esseros, and Sothoros, a large landmass, Ultos, and a number of many smaller islands, but none of the four major land masses have been completely mapped. The known world is a part of a round planet, which might be a little larger than my world of Earth, possibly 3 to 5 times the size of my homeworld Earth. There might still be small folk who believe in the world to be flat. My world, long ago, my world once thought this also, that Earth was flat, and that it was the sun that orbited around Earth. But it wasn't until some years later that they discovered the Earth actually orbits around the sun. Years after that, by generations or two, a great explorer had proven that the Earth was not flat, that it was round. Very good. What can you tell us about some of the history that you have just learned? The Archmaester Pariston believes the world is 40,000 years old, while Archmaester Mullis instead suggests 500,000 years. Good. You're learning well. For Westeros, tell us what you've learned on Westeros. Take your time. Westeros is located in the far west of the known world. The continent of Westeros is long and relatively narrow, extending from a place called Dorne in the south to the lands of Always Winter in the far north. The wall, the border between the Seven Kingdoms and lands beyond the wall to the north, is 300 miles long. I'm presuming that it indicates that Westeros is roughly 900 miles at its widest point, east to west. North of the wall is a large amount of land remains uncharted. That is correct. Anything else? William continues thinking. Westeros contains the Seven Kingdoms south of the wall and the lands of Always Winter in the lands north of the wall. The Seven Kingdoms first unified under Targaryen rule, which are made up out of 9 regions: the Crown Lands, Dorne, the Iron Land Islands, the North, the Reach, the Riverlands, the Stormlands, the Vale of Arryn, and the Westerlands. That is good. You're doing well. Bordering on Westeros lies the Sunset Sea to the south, the Narrow Sea, to the east, southern half, and the Shivering Sea to the east, northern half. Very good. Now then, what can you tell me about Essos? William's thinking carefully. Separated from Westeros by the Narrow Sea, Essos extends eastward for many thousands of miles. It is larger than Westeros, but less densely populated. The western edge of the continent is controlled by the 9 free cities, while the city-states of Slaver's Bay are located in the south central region. Much of the continental interior, known as the Dothraki Sea, is grassland ruled by the tribal warriors known as the Dothraki. Very good. Then William looks up at him. I have, for the first time, experienced meeting a Dothraki. At first, it was a little bit tense, but the Queen, Daenerys Targaryen, had helped me through this difficult time, and in the end, we did a dance to honor the king, and he had given me what would be considered a great gift, and because he had sensed something in me. Yes, we know, but until the right time and for your protection, you're not to mention what it is that is awakened in you. I understand, Lord Instructor, but we understand he had sensed something. Yes. It was quite the tense and experienced moment, and I probably wouldn't have, when I'm smiling, thinking on good memories, I probably wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for the help of the Queen, who I very appreciate, and through the love of my heart has always been there for me. Well, that is good. It's no secret, William. Everybody knows you love the Queen. However, I'm sure she would agree you need to focus on your studies. Yes, Lord Instructor. William then looks back at his studies with a big grin on his face. Of course, the Lord Instructor knows that the feelings he displays is true and is pleased that a strange human of another world can care and love the Queen so much. And so he thinks nothing more of it and waits for William to finish his studies. Okay. Further east is Quarth and the fabled Jade Sea. The mapped lands of the Essos are divided by the Bone Mountains. Correct. Keep going. Which run from the Shivering Sea in the north to the Jade Gates in the south. William's looking around. Oh, and east of the Bone Mountains are the plains of the Jogos Nyai Yeti, the Gray Waste. Did I pronounce that right? Yes, you're doing good. You might be off on your accent. I'm sure the Queen would even find this a bit humorous. Sorry. I'm still trying to pronounce her first name correctly. William smiles about this and shakes his head to clear his thoughts. Okay, Masabi and the legendary Asai in the foreboding Shadow Lands. Yes. Very good. Now, tell us about Sothros. Sothros, also written as Sothros, is located south of Essos on the far side of the Summer Sea. It is a large continent consisting of deserts and jungles. It is said to be a haven for plagues and dangerous animals, and has not been explored much beyond the northern coastal regions. Off the coast of northwestern Sotheros are the Basilisk Isles, and to the west is Naif. Naif? Correct. Okay, you're doing good. Couple more and we will take a break. All right? Yes, Lord Instructor. All right then. What can you tell me of Uthos? William looks around nervously. Uthos is a large landmass located to the southeast of Essos, across the Saffron Straits from the Shadowlands. It may or may not be a continent, and its size is still unknown as it is located on the edge of the known world. Then William looks up at the Lord Instructor. Perhaps if it were explored, then a discovery might prove that your world, as you know it, is actually not flat. But nobody, I take it, has ever survived exploring? No. Many who have tried to explore this world beyond Esseros, and though they sailed the great vast ocean, none have returned, or they were lost at sea for some reason. There is theory of maybe big sea creatures that have gotten them, but no one has lived long enough and returned to tell the tale. I see. All right, continue. We got one more, and then we can take a break. All right. What about the islands? What can you tell me that you've learned on the islands? Well, the largest island in the known world is Great Morocco, located between the Summer Sea and the Jade Sea to the south of Korth. Very good. The second largest appears to be the I think it's called Ib, in the Shivering Sea north of the kingdoms of the Ifequevran, followed by the largest of the Summer Isles, Jahala. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Continue. And I guess there are other various other islands. Very good. You've done well. I think we'll go ahead and take a break at this time, because it's probably about dinner time. After dinner, we will continue our lessons tomorrow, so that way you can get plenty of rest. And this time, you will start in the morning. I understand, Lord Instructor. Will the Queen know that I've done well so far? Yes, we will inform her of how well you're doing. Well, thank you. William couldn't help but have a big smile, thinking that perhaps she'll be impressed at how things are coming. And so with that, then he goes out for a break to stretch his legs and enjoy the crisp, clean air, unlike that of his homeworld, and then he will join the Queen for dinner. In the dining hall, the banquet hall, that is, William then, of course, sits on the right side of Daenerys, as is the custom to which she had adopted from his heraldry and the usual course. And as they are talking about many things, the instructor, Lord Instructor of lessons, uh, approaches the table from wherever he has his dinner at his quarters. Yes, may I help you? I have the report that you wanted me to keep you informed of. Very well then. I will look at this report. The Lord Instructor then hands her a scroll, and I guess it would be something like that of a report card in my world. She has this big grin come across her face. Can this be true? He has, my queen, excelled very rapidly and quickly to our amazement. We did not think this was possible, him being a human and everything. She looks over at William with a big smile. William then looks at her wondering if he has done, if intently with a smile back as to whether he was going to have some kind of news from her. Then she looks quickly back to the Lord Instructor. Thank you for giving me this report, and I will make sure that he is up at a proper time to continue his lessons. Thank you, my queen. We look forward to having him continue. And so with that, the Lord Instructor then departs. As William kind of looks on, not knowing what to expect, he feels Daenerys slip her hand into his, intertwining her fingers with his fingers. You are doing well. I am quite amazed. How is it you can go through the history so fast? William then looks up at her. I take it you are pleased? Yes, I am. Well, your history has greatly fascinated me, and I guess I just wanted to keep learning more and more. And so I'm taken in by your history. It is pleasant to learn of things that have taken place before I came into your world. So I hope I didn't act in a way that I shouldn't have, because I went through the history so fast. No, you haven't. This is amazing. Now I can see you are continuing to amaze me through your abilities of your human mind to want to learn so much. I am pleased by this. And she then lifts William's head up a bit. I am proud of you. And then leans over and gives William a fairly good long kiss and squeezes his hand gently. You know, I think it would be best, and not to say I'm not interested in sharing my love with you, I think it would be best, because of how the effects of my sweat soaking into your skin has an effect on you, that perhaps we should maybe forego the usual sharing of our love, because you have to get to class on time. Do you not agree? Yes, I do. Good. So, you and I will, of course, still be close, as I still love you, William. And so by not sharing our love tonight or until such time you finish your lessons, it is because I want you to continue doing well and not be distracted. I understand. Good. But I'm sure I could still give you some rewards for your achievements. I'm looking forward to these rewards. Good. So after dinner, as promised, she gave him some rewards, though she had, as promised, decided that it might be best that we don't make love like we usually do. We just more or less play with each other in a playful manner. And though she is very tempted, she contains herself because she knows that this is something very important I need to get done. So we lay in each other's arms, and again, she holds me close because she enjoys the feel of the heat of my body against hers. And so thus ends the first day of lessons. Now comes the continuation of where I have to complete my geography lessons the next morning. After having a good breakfast with her, she then gently pulls William towards her, gives him a long kiss, and says, I will see you later and hope you have a pleasant second day of your lessons. I will continue to do my best, and I also will hope that you have a good day as well. And so William then leans over and kisses her for a long, long time too. And of course, being human, not realizing that again, whoops, slipping up, gently, though she has her clothes on, massages the underside of her breasts, and she gently grabs his hand and looks at him like, that's not approved of type look, but with a smile, and says, this will be for later, William. You must concentrate now. So then William whispers in her ear, I love you, Daenerys. She then whispers back in his ear, I love you too, William. I will see you after your second lessons. Yes, my queen. And so she allows him to leave, and he heads back to class. Okay, on this lesson, as William hasn't entered the class, this will be the last part of your geography. This is going to be kind of a lengthy one. This one is about the seas. Are you ready to finish your geography lessons? Yes, Lord Instructor. Very good. Tell us about the seas, what you have learned. The largest seas appear to be the Shivering Sea, north of Essos, and the Sunset Sea, west of Westeros. The Summer Sea and Jade Sea lie between Essos and Sotheros. Yes, continue. And the Narrow Sea separates Westeros from Essos. Very good. What can you tell about the other lands? So I'm kind of trying to reflect to gather his thoughts. Well, the Lord Gilbert Farwin of the Lonely Light, the island farthest west of the known world, speaks of lands farther to the west across the Sunset Sea. According to him, this land has no winter and no death. These claims are not treated seriously, though. Apparently, King Brandon, the shipwright of the House Stark, attempted to sail across the Sunset Sea, but never returned. Very good. I take it then, if I may ask, go ahead. This is why you have not discovered that your world, though bigger than mine, is not round, because you had stated that others have tried and disappeared. That is correct. That is interesting. Perhaps King Brandon has maybe met with some treachery or something on the other side of the world and did not get a chance to maybe return and give his report. I'm not sure if it would be by giant sea creatures, because I myself have not seen such things, but I would imagine he has not fallen off the edge of your known world here. Perhaps no one will know what happened to him. Yes, I understand, Lord Instructor, but I find this very fascinating. All right, then. So, tell us about what you first have learned about the shape and size. Well, I have learned that the order of Meisters in Westeros and other learned men across the world have studied astronomy for centuries, and by observing the movements of the stars across the night sky, have determined with relative certainty that their world is a round globe. Isolated tribes or simple farm peasants in Westeros who have no education, of course, might still confidently believe that the world is flat, but they are mistaken. The Meisters, who also understand that theoretically a ship could be able to circumnavigate the globe by continuing to sail west from Westeros until they come around to Yati on the other side, then continue going west until they return to Westeros. They also understand that a ship could sail north over the pole and reach Yeti on the other side, provided that there is no landmass or Arctic ice in the way. However, as of yet, no ship has ever successfully circumnavigated the globe. Ships that have sailed west of Westeros and returned report finding only a vast ocean, and other ships simply never return. That is correct. Continue. Um, Even the far south of Sotheros and eastern end of Essos are unknown to men in Westeros. They have been There have been some attempts to navigate north over the poles, but all have ended in failure due to dangerous ice and other unknown dangers. Um, so that is all I know about that so far. Very good then. Let's go ahead and take a break. This has been a very long day for you. We will, of course, now you will take a break after lunch. We will continue, and then pretty much you are done with your geography. Thank you, Lord Instructor, for being patient with me, being a human, and not able to be so quick as I was with the history of this geography, though I do find it very fascinating. You're doing well, William. The Queen has faith in you, and as do I. Thank you. And so with that, they part for a lunch break as he goes to get fresh air outside on a terrace balcony. After another great lunch with Daenerys Targaryen, William informs her that he may be finishing up his geography lessons pretty soon. She seems delighted that he is doing very well, and thus he will have two of a few lessons completed. So after talking for a while, William then gives her another big kiss, and then is dismissed by Daenerys to continue his lessons. All right, as he now enters the Lord Instructor's classroom-like setting, we're going to continue the where we left off on the geography lesson here, and I want you to continue where we had left off about the shape and size of the world that you now live in. I understand, Lord Instructor. So what have you learned as far as the world that you currently live in, such as the stars, the wanderers that you see up above? Well, William thinks for a moment to gather his thoughts. Little is known of the solar system and astronomy of the world Westeros is set in, though in general it appears to be roughly identical to like that of my real life homeworld, Earth. Astronomy is rarely mentioned and not very important to the world here, but there has never been any indication that it is particularly different from real life. The world here has one sun. The one moon orbits the world, going through lunar phases that make up a month known as a moon turn. Right. Continue. And it is equal to a real world month. However, I have a question. Go ahead, William. Well, when I first came to this world, I saw two moons, though for what I've read here, you've only shown one. That is because the moon that you see smaller than the first one, it orbits in an opposite direction, and it is around the first wanderer closest to this world. Perhaps you may have heard this, and if not, then this would be the first for you. What you see as the smaller moon, it goes behind the big moon that is closest to our world. We call this the passing of the shadows. Basically, it is behind the larger moon, and while our moon orbits in one direction, the smaller moon orbits in the opposite. I see. Now then, please continue on what you have learned about the solar system. All right. The solar system that the world is set in is known to have 7 other planets besides the world that I'm on. The people of the world don't appear to realize that these are other worlds like our own. I guess that people can stand on. It's not even clear if they understand that the moon is another world. That possibly people could stand on. That you have termed the planets wanderers as they move across the night sky relative to the stars, which are fixed with the orbit of our world. Correct. Take your time. Well, let's see. Well, he's looking, trying to search for his thoughts. This does not necessarily mean that the solar system here it's kind of similar to like my home world of Earth, but the rate of discovery is different. Let's see. I guess the best, what my world calls telescope, which you call far eyes, is used to study the stars. That is correct. And it comes from the master lens crafters of the free city of Mir. Correct. And are thus referred to as Mirish eyes. That is correct. Therefore, it is entirely possible that they discovered their two wanderers because they possess a few as I would say in my world, like technologies, such as basic telescopes, which the medieval time period of my world of Earth did not yet possess. in the Seven Kingdoms, it is associated with the Smith from the Faith of the Seven, though the free folk call it the thief, because when the Red Wanderer appears in the constellation of the Moon Maid, they consider it a good time of year for a man to ritually steal a woman from another village to take as a bride. That is correct. Wouldn't this be considered a crime if a man steals a woman? In my world, they would call that kidnapping. It is somewhat hard for you to understand, William, and I do know this because you are human. It is kind of a ritual custom that has been done in this world that you probably are not accustomed to. But please continue. All right, Lord Instructor. Certain culture specific aspects are different. Specifically, that cultures in Westeros developed different constellations. There's no indication that the stars are outright arranged differently. Let's see. One constellation is known as the Crone's Lantern, which is a reference from the crone from the Faith of the Seven. Another constellation referred to several times is Ice Dragon. That is good. You're doing well. You're almost done. Please continue. The solar system has minor astronomical bodies, such as comets and meteors. The red comet had appeared in the sky near the beginning of the War of the Five Kingdoms. That is correct. Every now and then, small meteorites have been known to crash into the planet as well. Dawn, the ancestral sword of House Dane, was forged from the metal recovered from a fallen star, and the House Dane even uses a falling star in their heraldry as a result. Dawn has unusual properties, and it is as strong and sharp as Valyrian steel, which is forged using spells and dragonfire, but the metal of the blade is the color of pale white milk. That is good. And with this, you have now completed all that there is for geography. Wow, that was hard. Yeah, and I could see that this was something very difficult for you, but you have gotten through it, and this is good. The Queen will be well pleased with your achievements. Congratulations. You now have history and geography completed. You have the rest of the day to yourself. Thank you, Lord Instructor. And so with that, he dismisses William out of the classroom. Again, William lets out a sigh of relief because this was a very stressful moment for learning all that there is to learn. But he is now a little bit relaxed because he does not have to take lessons for a little while. That evening, William then has dinner and discusses things that he has learned. And the Lord Instructor, again, has a scroll passed to um, Daenerys, who reads it, and again seems much delighted in William's achievements. The scroll she reads states that now he has to learn about Targaryen customs, traditions, writing, and the laws. She then looks at William. This next set of lessons will be about the history of my house, and which is a kingdom within the kingdom of the realms. And this also will give you an opportunity to know more about me because I am Targaryen. Though you be human, this may be difficult. But again, I have faith in that you will do well, as you are already. Well, thank you, Khaleesi. And she kind of smiles because she knows that at least this is, again, an easiest way for me to address her. I have enjoyed the lessons thus far. And so with that, William puts his hand into hers also and intertwines his fingers with hers and gently caresses her hand. She then leans over and gives him a kiss, and they finish eating dinner. That night, after they take a bath together, they take turns sharing love techniques with each other until he starts having his usual issues from Targaryen sweat, and she again enjoys and is stimulated by the torment this gives him. And after a while, then they sleep in each other's arms. And so thus completes another vigorous day of lessons for William that he has to complete in order to solidify his position for which she has adopted and based on his heraldry to sit on her right hand following in her stead.